Okay, so this is the tutorial for the anti-static event team on how to use the backend. First thing first, you come to the login page, you fill in the information I gave you in regards to the backend account, then you click login. In case you're wondering, you get the dark theme by clicking this little thing over here. Now, we go to service management, game services. That is the only thing you need to manage. You don't touch anything else under here or here. The first section over here, where my mouse is hovering, is where you can find your connection info and FTP info. Anything I don't talk about is something you never should touch and don't need to worry about, like the query info or the Archon info. Now, very simple. You click the start button to start the server. You're gonna get a blue ring. This is only in the browser in this page, as we can see. It takes about a minute or so for it to be over, then another like couple minutes for the server to go up. Some mods are really heavy and cause the server to need like 5 minutes if not even more to load up, but chances of you using those mods are quite rare. Now we see we have the restart and the stop button. I'll talk about the more one in a minute. Stop button stops the server, restarts, stops it, and starts it back up automatically. In this case, let's turn it off. Once the server is off, I will show you something. Now, the more. The only thing you need to worry about under the more section is repair the server's file system permission and game accounts. In some circumstances, after you upload a mission, delete a file, or do something in the server files, you will lose the ability to see many of them or interact with them. Therefore, you just come here, click repair, and then you press OK. It takes a minute to happen. It's usually really quick and gonna finish any second now. Sometimes you have to click the start button over here, but in this case we don't, and it is over. So let's go to configuration files, the next important bit. I'm not gonna explain the top three because we never should touch those, including the ban.txt. We use a separate file for putting our bans. We'll start with the server CFG. Now, the password is the password of the server. In this case, we all will use a random 5 digits password. And for events in general, there should not be any other thing, just a random 5-digit password. In terms of the admin password, we do not touch this, we do not change this under any circumstances, and we certainly do not share it with anyone, including admins or event team members. The list below is a list of all admins and event team members that can log in into admin without the need for the password. And you also are not supposed to touch this at all unless you're given permission by the event team lead. Now we go down to the next important section, joining rules. Under joining rules, there's signature verification. Some mods don't have keys and cause issues when the players try to join the server, like kick them, although the mod's required and they have it. Such mods is like 40k, where some of the fancy mods don't have a key. Therefore, what we have to do is change the 2 to a 0. And in that case, people can now join the server with the mod. More instructions about that can be found in the event team channel. But for 99% of events, it will remain as 2. Now, if we go down, there is literally nothing left. Okay, it's been a while since I've checked this file, so let's save it with the password we just put into the server. And now let's check the last thing. This is how you edit custom settings. Now, you are not ever supposed to change custom settings without direct permission from event team lead. And as of right now, there is only a single reason to change the custom settings, which is Halo event, where you need to give the players the cursor. Otherwise, all events are supposed to use custom difficulty, especially when ace view restriction gets introduced. This is more or less the list of settings. You can find a more advanced list if you Google Arma 3 difficulty settings. Let's save it and leave it. Our next thing is the command line. Now, this is what tells the server what mods are needed and what mods the players should have. In this case, you can select one of the already existing ones or edit one. But let's create a new one and call it nomas. Now, you never change any of those. The run as dedicated server. Those four checkboxes are the creator DLCs. You can load one or multiple of them. Headless clients is the number of headless clients in this command line. You could do 1, 0, or 2. In most cases, it'll be 0. Then you've got the actual command line. I like to expand it so I can work with it. Server only side mods are things that the players don't need to load, but they will still work, like advanced towing. Now, everything else we do not touch at all. Let's start with the command line. Usually you delete it and start from the scratch. Let's say we have ace in the command line. Don't worry, you can access the file manager by clicking on it, but I'll show you a better way. Ace also requires CBA, which we must not forget. So let's get CBA. Now notice, you put the name of the mod as it is mentioned in the files, where it always starts with an @ and we separate the mods with a semicolon. So let's say we need Zeus Enhanced. So let's grab Zeus Enhanced. You know what, you're supposed to copy them, but in this case, let's just write them. And let's say Zeus Enhanced Ace Compatibility. Now the final one, we don't put a semicolon. We only put a semicolon to separate them, and you only put the list of mods the players need here. So you do not put any optionals, and you should not force any optionals unless there's a really good reason for it. Then once you're done, you press save. In this case, let me just edit the setting mode set. This is the mode set we use to configure the server, and this should never ever be changed under any circumstances. If we go to the mode set that we just created and paste it into it, because we know this is a working command line, you can have a really long command line and they can take a minute to make. So keep that in mind, and they should not have any errors. If you have any errors in the command line, the server will not go up. Once you've created it, you click select, and the selected command line will be highlighted by being turned into bold text, and it will say selected. Now, before we even jump into FTP or the file manager, let me show you something. Let's start the server like last time. It's gonna take a minute to do so. And after the server says it's up, it might take a bit longer to actually connect to the Steam servers. We'll see that in a minute here once it's started. If we open current activities and status, we notice it is not. This is connected directly to the Steam servers, I believe. It's more or less just a live display of the server. So when it's not displayed, it's not on the launcher. We can see that right now the server is not yet up. Let's actually let's open Arma and see for ourselves. Okay. Now that I have the server in my favorites, it might just go up any second now because it keeps searching. As we see, it's not finding it just yet. Okay, this is perfect because I was going to go over log viewer. Log viewer shows you the log of the server. Now we're gonna try to figure out why the server is not going up yet. If we look here, we have the RPTs. We don't need to worry about the logs. We only need to worry about the RPTs. We check the latest server RPT. Then we can either stream or download the file. Streaming doesn't show you anything, everything I mean, but it just shows you the recent. Hey, it says it's connected. This literally happened just like less than 10 seconds or so ago. So if we go here and refresh, it should say it's up. Yep, it is. And if we check the Arma 3 launcher, it should appear here. Here we go. Now, let's close this log viewer. If the server is not on the Arma 3 launcher and is not going up and you suspect something is wrong, you check this. There should be a message like this: connected to Steam server, initializing Steam server, game port, blah blah blah. It usually will say failed to connect or failed to initialize, and you'll try to read the logs and figure out why, or you check the command line, you check one of the mods. Anything could result in the server not going up. Well, we more or less just covered the logs, but let's check an older log. This is not the one we're looking for. Let's look for something that's a while ago. I'm looking for something where there was definitely an op of some kind. Here we go. That's been me and Ombre testing, so let's do it. Usually you'd open it in a text editor, but I'd suggest opening it in an IDE. Reason being, it's just easier to read. Don't worry about that. So, this is how you search the logs. So let's search for the name Nomas. You can find admin logged in, admin logged out. We can tell who logged in and who logged out. The ID of the person. Let's search for Ombre. See, this is his ID, his team ID 64. If we search for Skippy, we can definitely find his ID somewhere. Right, I'm probably searching for the wrong message, but let's search for friendly fire. Friendly. Can't seem to find it. I think we might have actually not done any friendly fire during this testing. Well, you'll learn how to search for it in actual logs once. Oh, yeah, of course. The reason there is no friendly fire logs is because I did not have the friendly fire script in the mission when we tested it. Okay, so we don't need to worry about that. Let's go back to the server. Let's close this tab and turn it off, because our next bit is the Steam Workshop. Now, most of the time, 99% of the time, this is how you add mods. There is a small case where you have to add mods manually. By manually, I mean you'll have to find them in your own files and upload them to the server. If that is the case, then you should just ask the team lead, and I'll also explain how to do it still later. So we come to the first page, Steam Workshop, the blue one. This is where you subscribe to mods. So let's say okay, that's don't mind me. I'ma just open those to inspect them. Okay, well, this is turning interesting. Let's go back up. Just one more. One more. I know you can hate me. You can hate me. That's okay. Okay, let's search for, let's say what's a mod that we're not subscribed to anymore. Let's search for the word Germany. There we go. Rochi, Germany. We're not subscribed to that, and I actually need it for a test. So let's install it. You just click the install button. Now keep in mind the mod must not have an apostrophe in its name. An apostrophe is what I just wrote right here. This is an apostrophe. If the mod has an apostrophe in its name, it will not be installed, or even though it says it's installed. Any mods with apostrophes in their name need to be uploaded manually. Otherwise, you just wait. It can take a minute, so let's just wait. It's almost done. Keep in mind, small mods can take less time. Larger mods could take a longer time. It is still 10 times, if not even more, faster than uploading them manually. Now it'll take you back to the install page or the search page every time you finish any interaction through this. Now we click on the install tab, the green one. This is very self-explanatory. This is a list of all the installed mods on the event server. If you click details, it's gonna take you to the Steam Workshop page. If you click on uninstall, it's gonna uninstall the mod. Since we are already here, let me search for something to uninstall. As you see, you can also see a list of mods that needs to be updated, but you don't need to worry about that. There is a better way for checking for mods to be updated. Well, seems like there is nothing to uninstall, so let's just uninstall Rush Germany again. Same thing, sometimes again you have to click start for it to work, but most of the time it does it automatically. And we get taken back to this page. And if we check for it, it is no longer there. The mods are sorted by when you subscribe to them, as in the latest mod you subscribe to is always at the bottom, the first mod is always at the top. So let's check the last tab, the orange one, which is the last one. Update. Very simple. If it's in here, it needs updating. You click update. You don't click update all. This is buggy. You'd never do update all, reinstall all, or uninstall all. This can cause some issues. You just do them one by one. And as we can see, it's almost done updating. Once it's updated, it will be removed off the list and it will be done. In some cases, an updated mod will have a different file name to the current one. Like if the mod maker names his mod file, let's say Antistasy version 1.1, then the next time he changes the folder name to Antistasy version 1.2, there will be two folders, 1.1 and 1.2, and you need to delete the other one via the file manager or FTP. In our case, file manager is the last thing we'll go over, which allows you to see the files through the browser, upload and delete things, but you never should interact through the file manager. It is not fast enough. It can also from time to time cause issues. What you instead need is an application called WinSCP. This is what I use. Now, when you open it, this is the first thing you're gonna see. You change the file protocol to FTP, always must be. Encryption is no encryption. In case you're using a different application, you'll have those same settings. Now, the host name, if you remember, we go back to the main page, FTP info. Can copy this, or honestly simply copy the IP from the one above or the host name, and the port number below is 8821. So we put the correct port number. For the username and password, it is the same as your login information. In this case, I'll be logging in through my admin account, so we don't need to worry about showing the other account's password. And then we can log in. You can save it and mess around with saving the password and login information for yourself. If you're logged in, you're gonna see a single file instead of multiple. I only see multiple because I'm an admin. And our port is 2332. So we open the file, and here we see all the mods. You see they all start with an @ An example of a manually uploaded mod is 3DE, or Thread and Enhanced. I've renamed it. We don't have that, I believe, subscribed. Instead, I've uploaded it manually a while ago. Now, when you create a command line, you don't just write it. You literally copy, rename, and then you're done. Don't rename anything, just copy the name and paste it. In this file here, MP missions is where we put all of our missions. You just drag them from your desktop or wherever into here, or you open your mission folder like I am here, turn them into a PBO and upload them. Once they're in this folder, you're good. And ArmaHosts file, optional, is where we have the keys of all of our optional mods. This is more or less the FTP. Let's try to demonstrate the issue I've mentioned before, if I can manage to make it happen. However, no promises on that. Let's there isn't any mod file I can really delete that I see. Let's keep searching a tiny bit longer. There must be something I can delete. It seems like not, actually. Well then. Well, this is the end of the tutorial then. If you got any questions, ask me on Discord.